Welcome back to part 2 of our curved fireplace. In this video, we poured the hearth, finished off the curves, applied the micro cement and installed our whopping wood fire heater. We cannot wait to spend cold nights by the fire, so let's get into it.
Welcome back everybody. Slightly different start to this video because something exciting is about to happen. We get ourselves a new fireplace. I'm just here and arrived at Woodpecker in Mornington, an amazing place if you're looking for wood fires and you're after some great customer service. Can't speak highly enough about those guys inside. Have helped us out massively when Sam and I was wandering around the other month trying to pick what we wanted, what was going to work for us. A lot of detailed information here, so huge shout out to those guys. But here this morning, it's arrived. Our new fireplace is ready for pickup, so I've driven down and we're just about to grab it, and I cannot wait to get this thing home so that we can set it up and hopefully pop it in our wall this weekend. All right, so we have it. It has arrived. We got it inside. It was a bit of a mission. This thing weighs a flippin' ton. I had not anticipated it to be that heavy. It is far larger than the one that we've got in our front area, but boy, are we excited and so stoked to have this. It is an awesome looking fireplace. This here is the Blaze 820 fireplace. I think it's a great size and specification for its budget too. Quite affordable in terms of fireplaces. They aren't the cheapest thing, wood fires, but this thing sits in a really good range, especially for its size. We are heating a pretty large area back here for the home, so this is really fit for purpose. Plus the size of our wall behind us is quite large. Now we've got a big TV above it, so you do need a substantial fireplace underneath it, otherwise it'll look pretty silly. But oh yeah, she's heavy. Had to buy a dolly just to get it around the house. So at the moment, I've just got some base coat here. We're going to be finishing up the last of these corners around the sides of our fireplace surround. So I've done a tearaway bead so that it can meet that wall junction. So I'm just putting some base coat on it, and then I'll hit it with some top coat later today. Smooth off these curved edges so that we're ready to prime the whole wall and get it all set up for our micro cement, which is going to be really exciting. But after I get this plaster done, we're also going to tackle the fireplace hearth today, which is going to be a concrete based pour. So lots to happen. I've just marked up the opening. Chai is quite needy. I don't know why. He's thinking it's dinner time and you're like 2.5 hours too early. So I don't know why you're bothering me now, but you're very sweet. I've marked up the opening and we're just going to trim it out now before I pour the concrete, because it's going to be annoying and hard to do a little bit later. So instead, I'm going to cut these sides now, and just a very, very quick note. Take silica seriously, people. Always use a proper respirator. Like, don't use blue masks and even those little K45 white masks. They're not going to help as much as something like this does with a proper filtration system. Do not risk it when it comes to silica. It is just a lung destroyer. We know how bad it is. It's been cancelled basically everywhere, so don't risk it for what it's worth. Use a respirator, use a vacuum, use proper tools, get it sorted. Okay, so we've finally got this opening set up for us. It can get so big. We're so not used to this size fireplace. Our front Canara does take up a little bit of room, but the firebox isn't this big, so what a glorious size. And I've just got some rails here set up on the ground, so this is the edging of our hearth, and I've only just going slightly above our flooring, but I'm just going to trowel it off near the end of this, which will give us a nice smooth flooring finish with our timber. And yeah, fortunately we've got this really, really solid base to work with, so very handy for us. The compliance on our unit needs 300mm minimum depth to a hearth if you've got a solid masonry base. So we're just basically going to be topping this up with a bit of concrete for our finish. But basically we've just taken it another 100mm just to make it look a little bit larger and suit the space that we've got here. Otherwise it'd probably look a bit too thin, to be honest. So just going to pour the concrete through here and also set up a bit of conduit for our electrician, so that when we slide the unit in, I've just put in a little draw cable. We'll be able to pull it through and sort out the power later. So everything's going to be cast in, and let's get mixing some concrete before it gets too dark. It's always hard work doing concrete, tell you what, my goodness. Especially when it starts to go off a little bit quick, because of course, in our brick area and that existing substrate, because it was a little bit dry, it sort of pulls a bit of moisture out of the concrete. So I did make a few of those mixes a little bit wetter to help counteract it, but it still draws so much wetness out. So something to keep in mind there when you are pouring onto another substrate. Make sure it's either just a little bit wet so it doesn't pull too much water out of your concrete, because
think in those last couple of buckets I might have overdone it a little bit just on the water, but it'll all dry off pretty nicely and we'll be able to finish it up ready for our micro cement topping. That's all the sanding finished by hand, as you can see. Definitely a really rubbish job. It just sucks. It's so dusty. But anyway, we decided to do it by hand purely just because using those stick sanders is great for flat surfaces, but it's just too hard for the corners. So really it's just easier to be a little bit more finer detailed with the block. And also I really bulked up on the top coat for these corners here too, just to try and hide all that kerf line in the back of the cement sheet here. So easy just to take some more time with it. Now that's just, you can't really tell there's actually curves in here anymore. It's really, really flat. So super stoked how this has come out. But yeah, it definitely worth the mess and the dust is pretty rubbish. Anyway, we're on to the next bit now, which is just priming this surface. So we'll just put some priming paint on it just so that when we do the micro cement finish, it's going to have something nicely to bond to, and all this plaster and the cement sheet's not going to suck all that moisture out of it. The product is probably going to come with its own primer as well. But I think just for the sake of it, it's just easy just to give this a once over with a Dulux, just a paint interior wall primer, and then I'll have this surface ready to go. Right, this is all primed now, so the wall's ready to go for our new finish whenever we decide to buy the product. But otherwise, this is all done. And the next part and the last part is just to fix up this floor. So when we poured the concrete slab, it's really hard to work with a really thin amount of concrete. The aggregate's pretty large, so the rocks, when you try and trail it nice and flat, sometimes it's a bit lumpy and bumpy. And a few areas a little bit lower than what I would have preferred. So definitely want to try and get that nice smooth finish ready for our micro cement top, because that's only about a 3mm product, if so. So we really want this nice and flat. And I'd love to have a flush transition with this hearth and our timber flooring with a nice transition detail between the two, maybe some brass edging or something like that. So I really want to nail that look. So to get that last little bit of few mil, I'm just going to use a self-leveling compound and a primer. It's really important to use a primer on your surfaces, because anything like concrete and timber that wants to draw water out of your products, it's going to make your filler, your concrete just dry way too quickly. Even mortar, basically anything that has like a water chemical reaction in it. So we want to make sure that everything's sealed up nice and properly, so that when we pour this, it's going to smooth out nicely and it's going to have its proper curing time. So all I need to do is set up some edging again at my nice perfect height, give myself a couple of level points in the middle here, and then pour some self-leveler down. Now that is significantly better than what we had beforehand. So now, whereas we had probably like 5 to 6mm variance between some of these sections on the slab here, the fireplace may have sat a little bit wonky at the back there, but now I'm like within 1 to 2mm, which is so much better. So especially for the front here, our micro cement finish is going to be nice and flat on the slab, which is perfect. At the back here, it sort of just helped flood out those little rocky areas where the aggregate got a little bit tied up against the brickwork there. So major improvement. So this has got to set off obviously for quite a while. Basically I think it takes about a few hours to harden. Oh, here comes trouble. Don't even think about it, mate. Don't even think about it. As I was saying, only a couple of hours until this goes off, but of course before we apply our micro cement, we do want to make sure that the substrate moisture is completely gone. So like concrete, 28 days. It's a long time of curing process, but very important when you're putting certain types of finishes on concrete, especially adhesives, primers, you name it. They all have very, very critical curing times, especially for your substrates. Make sure they're nice and dry. So we're going to leave this for quite a while and probably get onto the walls. Will be the first one that we do. No, mate, I don't trust you. Can you just back it up? Just back. Stand up, back. Boop. Boop, boop. Alright, so now that the hearth is poured, the only other thing that I've done to that and also the wall is put on a sealer coat. So I used a concrete sealer or a bonding sealer to the concrete, just so that whenever we do our application, which is going to be the Fest Floor Micro Cement, it's going to bond to that really nicely. So here in front of us we have a wonderful array of products. There's quite a little bit involved with this process, but having said that, it is fairly straightforward with how it all comes together. So this is my first time using micro cement and specifically Fest Floor. This is the product here that we've bought from. They are local to Melbourne, Victoria. They're actually based in Geelong, and very quick shipping times. Customer service was really helpful. We sort of didn't know what we needed, and they were able to help us out and say, yep, this is perfect for your application, and also gave us some tips and tricks as well. So Here we do have the liquid and the colouring, so these two items are basically going to get mixed in full together. And then what I'll do is I'll do batch mixing with the micro cement. So this is basically their base tub here. And you've also got basically like a liquid polymer, which makes it a little bit more elastic. It sort of helps it smooth out a little bit easier because it is a cement product. So you do want it to be quite runny and quite goopy. So that helps with that application. And then we've got some 2-part sealers here as well, hardeners and things like that. So a little bit of a process to get to, but I'm super excited to try micro cement because this wall is huge and it deserves a nice finish. Because we're going to start this off by mixing a few small batches at a time, I don't want to overcommit because it's only got about an hour-ish working time. It does have this timer, which is basically this polymer, which will help it take a little bit longer to go off. So I will be using a dash to this. But I'm going to be mixing basically a couple of square meters at a time. The ratios are very specific. So we've got my kitchen scales back here, mixing paddle, and I'm just going to basically mix the full color together with the polymer. So that basically means every single batch I do is going to have the same color consistency. So I don't want to keep just adding little bits in at a time because this is going to be too inconsistent. So all of this goes in, can mix it all together. And then we're going to mix probably about a couple of square meter batch will be the first bit to start off with. And I'll work my way all the way down. And then obviously once we get down to the bottom of the wall, I'll then trail off and then work through the hearth for the first coat. Oh, not the easiest thing to mix. The other thing I didn't mention before was that they sort of recommend you can use a whole bunch of trowels, but I did buy their trowel, which is incredibly ergonomic. It's just like perfect grip for your hand, and it makes doing this application so much easier. This stuff's like plastering butter. It's actually so smooth and incredibly addictive. Now the best part about this whole situation is that you've got total control over what you're doing on the wall, so you can have as much texture as you like or as little as you like, which is actually really quite fun. So I'm trying to get a little bit of a blend of both. I think it's kind of best of both worlds to have a really nice smooth and seamless finish, as well as a little bit of rough trowel at edges. And sometimes I'm actually overlapping some of the stuff that's dried already, so it's getting a little bit gritty, which I also love. It's kind of just got this whole array of texture, but really with a single coat, you can sand it right back if you don't like it, and then start again with the next layers and keep building from there if you're not happy, or accentuate what you've already done. So really loving this process so far. So that is the first coat, totally finished, and it's come up really good. Super happy with this. It's got some awesome trowel lines in it, a couple of little mistakes, but to be honest, they actually make a part of the wall. It all really blends in. I'm really happy with it. It's awesome. And even the coverage on the floor is done really well. So it's got that nice continuation of the surface. It's going to look really cool. So we're going to let this dry for around about a few hours. It does, the instructions do say to hit it with like an 80 and then a 120 grit, which I think is way too heavy for this. So I'm going to let it really harden off. And I think I'm so happy with how the finishes and how the blends have worked. I'll probably do like a 120 or a 240 sandpaper just to really smooth off those high edges. Get that base coat nice and in there, and then I'll go with a second coat over the top of it, and hopefully that should be enough. If not, we might need to do a third depending on the coverage. So let that sit for a little while and give it a sand. Rightio, so we've got this one sanded. I only just used 120 grit sandpaper just to really smooth off those rough edges. And we're going to apply our second coat now. So this should give us much better coverage. Some of the areas are a little bit light on, but so that's a good spot to start. And maybe we might need a third coat, but we'll see how the coverage goes on the second one. So let's get this trowel on. So I didn't do much filming on the second coat. It was quite late last night, so I sort of just got stuck into it and got it finished. But we are all ready for this morning's installation of the fireplace. So the plumber is going to come out. We're going to be sliding this thing in as well as doing the range hood while he's here. It's going to help us out with some of the roof plumbing there too. So exciting morning ahead. So the plumber's up on the roof. As you can hear, installing the top of the flue, and him and I have just slid in this fireplace. I'm obsessed. How good is this starting to look?
And here we have it. We have our fireplace. It's in. I can't believe it. It's so exciting. We're gonna be so warm and toasty. We really are. This is really cool. So it's all set in. We do have a fascia piece to go around this, so it's not fully finished yet. And of course, we still need to sand and probably do another coat on the base here. I want to make sure that that's nice and thick. And it's also going to get a couple of extra sealing coats as well. So we want to make sure that it's really sealed properly so we don't get any of this, all the char and ash and things like that. They're going to blacken the bottom. We want to make sure that we can clean it nice and easily. But having said that, the second coat on the walls come up really nice, the micro cement. So that's ready for a quick sand, and I'll be ready to do the full sealer on that pretty soon. So this has come right along. We are nearly finished with this project here, and yes, I am saving the absolute best for last. We are so close, and I've been waiting almost 2 years for the last part of this video to come together. We'll get there in a second, but first, finishing the sealer off on this micro cement. So we have to do a 2-part component sealer for this area here and on the floor. You can get different types of sealers from Fest Floor or from Micro Cement Hub here, but the 2K Fest flooring is what we're going to be using. So it's got a hardener, a base, and also you do add a little bit of water to it as well, just to make it a little bit easy to apply. And that is going to be finishing this off. So it will need 2 coats, and I might do a third on the base just because we know it's going to get a little bit more wear and tear with the fireplace. Things are going to be falling out of it. We do want it to be a little bit easy to clean with some of that charcoal and grit you get with a wood fireplace. So see how we go, see how wearable it is with 2 coats, and yeah, let's get into this. I'm so excited. So I've started by only mixing about 20% of the sealer that we've got just to see how far it goes. We might have to add a little bit more if need be. But otherwise, it does say to let this actually sit for about 10 minutes. So obviously there's some sort of reaction that happens there. You do get another good mix after you initially do it. So let it sit there for a little bit and then pop it on. That was the perfect amount of sealer. I haven't got a drop left. So now we can wait for this to dry for 4 hours, and then I'll see how rough it is. If it is rough, you can wait 24 hours to give it a light sand and then do a second coat. If it feels smooth enough after 4 hours, I might just give it a second coat without sanding it. See how it comes up. This sealer has dried up really nicely. I'm actually very, very happy. It's not gritty at all, so it does not need a sand. This had 2 coats, so it's done a really good job. Oh, hello, mister. You'd like to make another appearance. So yeah, maybe we'll put on a 3rd coat here. Probably not. We'll see how it sort of wears over time. If need be, we can give it another little light sand, put another coat on it. Otherwise, time to do the finishing touches. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spook you. The fascia is the last little piece here to go on the fireplace. You're being very sweet. And there we have it, fully finished, which is amazing. Now the only other thing is to light it, which we'll give it a good burn in pretty shortly. But as I said before, the most important part to this entire wall coming up right now. Now we can't finish this wall off without installing what every single living room and lounge room must need, which is a appropriately sized television. Now before we even started this demo, we had to get rid of this TV because it was just, there was nowhere for it to go. It's way too large for the front area. It would have been silly to hang on to. So it's been being looked after by Sam's parents for a lovely long time. Thank you very much for taking good care of it. Very happy to have it back home and very excited to get settled into this area. We are nearly done with this entire room, this major piece here. The fireplace, the wall is a bit of our home setting for this lounge room. So lots of time will be spent in front of this fireplace and this TV in the future. And we cannot wait to show you guys all the rest of the pieces that are coming together with this back of the house. We are so close to getting the floors and the island bench finished, along with the range hood, the splashbacks, the whole lot. It's all coming together, so please stick around. Make sure you have your notifications on. Do not miss these next episodes coming out because this area is going to look fantastic. Thank you for watching, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.